Major League Soccer teams are happy to be competing in this competition, first and foremost. That's great. But to actually get a result, to win a game in this competition is an outstanding achievement. And it shows that we're going in the right direction. But Inter Miami looked fabulous. Yeah.
We saw a really entertaining game, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, home of the Atlanta Falcons for Inter Miami and Porto. Inter Miami, they came from behind. Big thanks to that man there, Lionel Messi, we just saw. They won 2-1. Samu got the early goal. Good performance from him. So much talk of him pre-game as well, the way he's been playing for the Portuguese side. But then it was Segovia and Lionel Messi with a free kick, scoring 2 within 7 minutes at the start of the second half to make it 2-1. And this is how it stands in Group A. It's Palmeiras and Inter Miami, both with 4 points from their 2 games so far, but the slightly better goal difference for Palmeiras. They are top of the group. FC Porto third on 1 point, and then Al Ahly also on 1. What did you make of the performance? Because it was kind of what we've seen from Inter Miami in the last few months, isn't it? They got the job done ultimately. They got the victory, and obviously Lionel Messi will get plenty of praise for that free kick. But it wasn't a particularly free-flowing performance, was it?
I mean, listen, you can always sit here and debate that it wasn't free-flowing, it wasn't perfect for Inter Miami, it wasn't anything near where they potentially can play. But let's make no mistake about this. This is a Major League Soccer team beating a European giant in Porto. This is an unbelievable result for Major League Soccer. This is a huge result for Inter Miami. This is a terrific result for this competition because it shows you that it's so competitive now as we go forward. So I'm really impressed with what we witnessed, obviously from Inter Miami in that second period. Yes, in the first half it could have been better. I thought for sure Messi was excellent in his creation in that first 45 minutes. I thought Suarez looked pretty poor in that first 45 minutes. But what I will say is that the quality will always come through at the end of the day. If you allow an opportunity to a Lionel Messi to dominate this match, you'll be beaten. And that's exactly what happened. The free kick obviously won the game, but I thought the first goal in particular to get back into the game from Segovia, the build-up play and the finish was absolute class. I mean, that to me is as good as it gets for any Major League Soccer team that I've ever seen. And then, of course, you see Lionel Messi stepping up. He scored 68 direct free kick goals now for club and country, which is an insane number. But to just simply say, hey, you know what, Inter Miami, it wasn't a special. For me, this is an outstanding statistic that a Major League Soccer team just beat Porto in this competition. And that's why this competition is there, Adam. To see these types of shock results and to showcase exactly how close Major League Soccer is getting to the best in Europe.
And before we focus more on the game itself, it has been, as you mentioned there, a great advert for the South American sides and MLS to compare themselves against the so-called, in inverted commas, big sides from Europe. And you have to say, so far, they've impressed.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I think the European teams in particular have struggled, obviously coming off the back of their domestic season, and especially those giants who have been competing in European competition and have been minus their international players for international duty before starting this competition. It's a workload, right? I mean, you would imagine those teams have some sort of agenda to be hitting their best form in the knockout stages and then obviously getting closer to the final. So the European teams will come good, I would imagine. However, I think that the Major League Soccer teams are happy to be competing in this competition, first and foremost. That's great. But to actually get a result, to win a game in this competition is an outstanding achievement. And it shows that we're going in the right direction. But Inter Miami looked fabulous. I mean, we've been watching them in Major League Soccer recently. They've looked shocking. They've looked terrible. They look old. They look fatigued. They look like there's no chemistry in that group sometimes. Some poor mistakes as well. But in that first game, they had an outstanding goalkeeping performance. And then in this game, you obviously had a World Cup winner who won the match for you.
Messi will get the headlines for the goal, but I thought it was good tactical play. He didn't make any changes at half-time, but clearly Mascherano has got these players together at the half-time break, had a conversation with them how to change the game, and I think you have to tip your hat to him tactically because he played this one well.
He played it very well, yeah, and I think obviously he's been relying on Ostari to step up. Didn't have to do too much. Porto only had 3 shots on target in this game, and they were disappointing in front of goal, I felt, especially in that second period when Inter Miami really stepped up their game. But very impressive performance. One outstanding performance from Kramajki, who I think has been somewhat disappointing over the last maybe 12 months, where at one point I thought he's going to be an international superstar, and then he sort of fell away, and now all of a sudden he's playing in a big competition. He's starting to shine bright again. Let's not forget there was a big defensive play from Falcon where he cleared off the line, and that could have made it 2-0 and essentially could have been done and dusted in the game. But yeah, I think Mascherano has done something pretty special with his team today. To get that type of a result against this Porto side is pretty special.
And it's pretty natural as well, isn't it? You know, he's relatively inexperienced manager, that as he grows into this role, he will get get better and better.
Yep.
The thing for Inter Miami is Messi's not going to win this competition on his own. He's going to need more from the rest of the team if they're to go on and say, OK, we're at the Club World Cup, we've put in some good performances, played well against Porto, but we want to actually win the thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. Nobody expected Porto to get knocked out of this group stage. I mean, that would be absolutely ridiculous. If Inter Miami went through alongside Palmeiras and Porto got knocked out, it shows you what can happen, and that's why the FIFA Club World Cup has been entertaining up to this point, because it's opened a door and an opportunity for some surprising results. But this result is right up there, one of the most surprising results I think we would have ever expected in this competition. But having Messi and Busquets and obviously Alba coming off the bench, you have a cheat code, right, don't you, with the experience that those guys have. What a fabulous job, and what important job it would be for Mascherano to take his team to the knockout stages and look forward to potentially maybe spring in another surprise. They have an ace up their sleeves because of Lionel Messi and what he can do. His creation in the first half should have been rewarded with a goal from Suarez. It wasn't quite. Suarez is looking older and older. But when you have a player like Lionel Messi, he's a game changer. And I mentioned already that free kick, 68 direct free kicks for club and country. It's 50 goals now for Inter Miami since he's arrived. And it's brilliant to see how important he has been for Major League Soccer, for Inter Miami in their development, for the young players obviously who have come into the team to learn from him, but still how important he can be as far as a match winner goes.
And it's a great stat. Inter Miami, the first MLS side to beat a European team in a competitive match. Obviously, we know that they don't get a massive opportunity to play them too many times, but that still stands a brilliant performance. On the other hand, Porto was a good first half. Samu, we talked about him, scored his goal, and he has been good for them, hasn't he, this season, particularly in European competition as well. But you just felt that when the onslaught did come at the start of the second half from Inter Miami, they didn't really have too many answers to it.
No, they were disappointing, and I thought disappointed in creation as well. Okay, they can get into the final third and put a cross into the box, but actually returning those shots and getting them on target has been a big problem for them. Samu stood out though. I think obviously getting the goal at the time that he did do, obviously early into the game, I thought this was going to be a long night for Inter Miami. And he's been a very good addition to Porto. Big decision for a 21-year-old who's coming off the back of an Olympic win, of course, last summer. To make that decision to leave Atleti for first-team football, deciding to go to Portugal, 26 goals and 44 appearances, not a bad return for someone like him. But I still think that there's more room for improvement from him individually. I mean, he should have taken his opportunity on 2 or 3 occasions after that goal, where he could have essentially sealed the deal for Porto to go through in this tie. But I think Porto let themselves down. And you saw, I don't know if you saw Villas-Boas and you saw Pepe sitting in the stands at one point in that game, and they were heads down, slightly worried. This is a bit of an embarrassing result for a club the size of Porto, to be beaten by Inter Miami. Forget Messi being there. Forget about it. Major League Soccer club, Inter Miami, just beat Porto. Porto are third in this group. If they don't go through, this is an absolute disaster. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that match day 3, though, because this is still to play for them.
Yeah, they've got loads of work to do. What would constitute success for Inter Miami in terms of the Club World Cup as a whole? Are they targeting winning this thing? What would you say has been a successful run? What stage do they need to get through?
They just made 2 million with that victory. They made 1 million with the draw in the first. So that's 3 million additional added to
about 3 days of Messi's wages, isn't
it? Sure. But still, at the same time, you've got to applaud what Major League Soccer, and obviously the coming together with FIFA, adding them to this competition because of the Supporters' Shield, was wild in itself. But the fact that they could potentially get 7.5 million by going through to the knockout stages, that to me is enormous. That effect would be huge and felt around the globe, I would imagine, if a Major League Soccer team can get out of the group stage and into the knockouts. And if they get to the knockout stages, you and I both know, Adam, when it comes to cup competition, anything can happen.
It certainly can, and I think it would quieten down some of that criticism, the parochial criticism that you get from some football fans in corners of this earth that criticise the MLS and the quality. I think this certainly would prove that.